Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in, because this video we're going to look at one of my favorite products I purchased in the last couple of, years from AliExpress. So this is the Super HD Super Famicom game, compatible with SNES and of course Game Boy Color Sega games. Yeah, it's quite interesting and a quite bold statement if you ask me. But in this video I just wanted to focus on the HDMI functionality and of course the Super Famicom cartridge that came with it, because that is a quite interesting one with some NES games, and of course it comes with even 2 wireless controllers. It's absolutely a blast to the past, but is it the blast to the past that we want to? Because I think normally when you're getting into that retro stuff, the only thing that is really retro is the original hardware. Or is this just a fun option? There are so many ways to complain nowadays, and this is one of them. It's not a cheap one, I'm just going to be honest. They're using basically the Super Famicom, or better said the Super Nintendo that I grew up with. Only they are not really naughty because they didn't use the original logo. And also we're going to do a quick side-by-side comparison so you can see it's not like a one-on-one copy of it. It comes with all the functionalities like on and off switch. This feels very legit. The eject button and the reset. Only the reset I think feels slightly different than the original one. But of course what I like about it, that we have like an HDMI, can plug it in, and we even have the option for an aspect ratio. I think that is something that every single system will have. And then we even have like different regions, AV out. So this basically the all-in, just everything, the all-in-one Super Nintendo you can buy and just play all your games. Like I already mentioned, this thing comes with built-in, not built-in games, but it's with a cartridge that has the option to play these games that are built in the cartridge. Yeah, so Super Retro Games is a quite interesting cartridge, but actually this is like 8-bit on 60-bit. And this cartridge only works on this system, so kind of weird and interesting at the same time. Then we do have like the 2 wireless controllers I personally really love. I think that is a very neat feature. We can just play our games wirelessly. How cool is that? That is like making retro a little bit of a modern touch to it. But then a question like, how is the quality? The D-pad feels very nice. The only downside is, you can hear it, like the shoulder buttons are completely different. Not a big of a deal. Yeah, it doesn't have built-in batteries, so you need to put them in yourself. And then of course we have the same quality, but this time with a wire. So even that they're going to give you like a third freaking controller. Then we do have like a power supply that is basically like a phone charger, not a rapid one, but just of a fast charger, just a typical 5V. And it just give me like an adapter. But let's do some side-by-side comparisons, and let's see where we're going to get with this Super Famicom with an HDMI in 2022. So this is not the latest model. It has been here on the market for a couple of years. They didn't do any revision, and I mean like they didn't improve anything. So what you see is just what you're going to get. I think it's a fun way to revisit your old games. Maybe you have some old games laying around. You can just buy it and plug it in this system. The system is not a one-on-one clone, and it does have like some flaws when it comes to emulation performance. But overall, I think it's not super bad if you ask me. And when you're going to put them side by side with the original Super Nintendo, yeah, there you're going to see some differences. So on the picture, you don't see anything. But I'm going to tell you, like, one thing is the measurements. When you're looking at the mold itself, yeah, I must say they're getting really close. Like a lot of similarities. There are some differences over here with the fake version, because of course the connection are different. But this thing looks pretty damn nice. Okay, so let's do a quick side by side. When it comes to the bottom itself, you can see like there are some minor differences. So I already told you like the power is pretty good. The eject is slightly different over here, but the reset there is going to get the biggest difference. Another thing is that this cartridge is only working on this system somehow. You can fit it in here. And another thing that I do like about the fake edition, we can basically use a lot of different cartridges. So if you want to go all naughty, use a multi-game card, or you want to just use different regions, we can do this fairly easy with this. And that is something that I really like about the Chinese version, is that we can use all kinds of games in it. And let's see if you can launch the Super Mario. Woo! Let's go! Another thing I want to try out is how will the games fit, especially the original ones. So the first thing I'm noticing, like, they are really hard to get out. I'm just afraid to press it, otherwise I think I will break something over here. So I'm going to pull it out like that. So that is something that is quite annoying. The weird thing is, like, when we're getting into the, let's say, an ever drive or a super game cartridge, these things fit in way better. How weird is that? Like, if you fit in, and let's say a different kind of game, it works very well. Same goes for the Japanese one, and for the PAL, the same story applies. Like this thing. Holy shit, that is not normal. Okay, so let's try some games. I just want to do a quick testing with all the PAL, Japanese, American games, multi-game cards, flash cards. Will this thing accept everything and how good will it be? Alright, so the first game that we're going to try is a PAL game, just to see if this thing will work. And I didn't switch out the switch in the back. I don't know what will happen with that. It seems to be booting up. Okay, so let's mess around with it, just see what happens. So the only thing that happens, that is going to be messed up. That's it. Okay. Okay, so let's try another game. Let's try the Japanese Super Mario Kart just to see what happens now. Let's see if the thing boots up. Let's lower the volume because it was quite loud. Or just mute it. That is also possible, of course. It always has a couple of seconds that it needs to boot up. So it's quite interesting. So it seems to be Super Mario Kart, the Japanese version. So we tried in PAL and then Japanese edition. Okay, so let's see if we're going to try out a Super Famicom game with, or in PAL version with the Super chip inside. The FX chip, I just call it the Super chip. And let's see if this thing is compatible. Later on we'll do some capturing just to see how it will work out compared with the original one. Ooh, that doesn't look very well. Okay, so next up I just wanted to try Starming again and I managed to figure out what it was. So the switch on the back for the region, that gives some issues. So for example, now everything works fine. And that is like the thing that I wanted to figure out. Like what is the problem with this? Like going to boot it up in the different region called the NTSC. And when you're booting it up, you can see it's going to be completely messed up. So the region switch seems to be working just fine, but that is something you need to take consideration. It doesn't do it automatically, and you just need to do it yourself. See, this one ejects very well. Very nice. Okay, next up, let's try the flash card just to see if it boots up. Flash card, fascinating to see that it takes quite a long time to boot it up. And here you can see like it seems to be working just fine. So it has an option to basically also play the flash card. And then we're going to get, of course, the final one. And the final one is going to be the Super Game Boy. Just see if it boots up with the Super Game Boy inside. Because I'm super curious about this. And here you can see also this boots up with the Super Game Boy. So I find it a really cool piece of technology that even we now in this year that we can get an affordable, cheap device that plays every single piece of a game that we can think of. I think we basically like try them all. The multi-game card also boots up. So when it comes to compatibility, it's pretty damn awesome. But first let's talk about the Super Retro Game System or cartridge that you can put in the system, because that's a quite interesting story. So what is this Super Retro Games cartridge? It's basically an 8-bit multi-game card containing 580 games. Yeah, it will be like a lot of homebrew and crappy stuff. I really see like Warzone, never heard of it. So I'm gonna say that I find it quite interesting to see what they give you with the system. It's because this multi-game card seems to be included and it only works on this particular hardware. I already tried it out on the other one and it doesn't work at all. So not with me anyway. So this is what you're going to get. So let's try a couple of these games and let's try also on the AV out. Okay, so the first game I tried was Turtles 2 and it seems to be messed up. Like seriously, like this is what I got, and the intro is also like messed up. But so far I've played the game, it seems to be working just fine when it comes to this intro and also the gameplay. So it's not all that bad. Don't know why it's actually like being messed up. To be honest, I've never seen a Super Nintendo that is backwards compatible with 8-bit games, but okay. It's a really cool extra feature, and I think it's pretty cool to see that it's actually possible. So I noticed with the Super Nintendo controller, like normally, of course, we only needing 2 buttons, action buttons with the NES, but that's the only thing I'm also going to get, because with my other buttons, nothing is doing anything. Only A and B are configured, so there's no turbo button. And of course the weird Mortal Kombat 4 homebrew game is on here. So let's see if I'm going to get actually the character that I want to play, because normally I choose the Sub-Zero over there, but I'm getting this weird other character. This is such a weird game. You kind of better call it Weird Mortal Kombat 4, something like that. See, I'm getting Kung Lao. I didn't even choose Kung Lao. What the hell is going on? But so far I can see there are no glitches going on, so maybe it's a couple of particular games that will have issues. But okay, so the Super Retro games, if you want to see more of this cartridge, I can make a separate video about it. Let me know in the comments, but for now I just want to leave it with this. Otherwise this video would be like 50 minutes long. Alright guys, so let's try the AVO function, and I must say that I was really pleased to see this because it works very well, and it's still on a CRT, it looks like really authentic, of course. But nevertheless, so if you want to play some old school games with this HDMI Super Nintendo, you have the option to basically go old school with the AV out. By the way, like the controllers play very well, like they feel kind of cheap, but when you play with them they're like absolutely amazing. So I am really surprised by it. Ooh, Bowser, here you got this little red shell for you. Okay, so let's do a side-by-side comparison with the two Super Nintendos. Yep, we're going to use only PAL because this is my PAL system. So I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison and also use an upscaler to get it into HDMI. So I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison when it comes to the quality and the audio performance. But when I take a close look at this HD video converter, we'll use it with my original PAL. It's not the best converter you can get, but I just want to keep it simple and I want to keep it cheap. And just want to do a quick side-by-side comparison with the signal outputs and how will they perform and look side by side. Alright guys, so first that we're going to boot up is the original Super Nintendo with Street Racer insert. And what I'm noticing is that there are some slightly differences when it comes to how vibrant the color is and how sharp, but also how is the format. But let's switch to the other version, the HD edition, and you can see like it has some brightness issues. The image looks slightly darker and the image is not be squeezed anymore. So you can see that there are some differences when it comes to the image. But when we're going to do a side-by-side comparison with many different games, the result is absolutely the same. So it doesn't even matter if you're going to check out a Mario Kart, a Sonic homebrew game, or let's say a Super Famicom game that has the FX chip inside. No, the result will be the same. The gameplay itself is exactly the same. There is no difference for me anyway, or personally. But especially when you're looking at the colors and how everything looks, there we're going to get the biggest difference. Okay, I need to point something out. So when it comes to the video and audio quality, you can see there is like a big difference between the systems. So it's not a one-on-one copy or something like that from the Super Nintendo. It's like actually like a different system. Like the color different, the way how it plays is the same, but the audio also is slightly different. I'm missing the bass. Take consideration I'm using just basic cabling for the Super Nintendo. I know if I'm going to get my Sync Luma or a very expensive one chip Super Nintendo, we're going to get even more performance, better performance, but I just want to keep it simple, including the upscaler. So this is what you're going to get when it comes to the side-by-side comparison with these devices. Alright guys, so let's do a quick teardown. I just want to give you a peek in the inside. What are we going to get? So this thing is a lot of plastic fantastic, I can tell you already that, because it weighs almost nothing compared with the original Super Nintendo. But again, like I'm super excited because I just want to show you what is inside. I didn't even see it myself. But also what I do like about these devices, like what did they do? Like what did they make? The technology behind it. And so far I understand this is not emulation whatsoever. I also reviewed a Hyperkin Super Nintendo. This thing was quite interesting. But I understand that thing actually uses emulation. So I don't know if I removed all of the freaking screws. It's always the question of like, where did they put them all? I think I got them all. Like the freaking Pokemon. Oh! I need to break the seal. Ooh, that's the reason I didn't see it. Alright, so I think that is the last one. Oh, the other one fell out too. And now we can lift it up. Alright. So first let's take a close look at the top part. Like a lot of plastic. But it's quite interesting that they also use this mechanism when locking the games. And here we go to get ourselves the inside, and there's a lot of stuff inside. When you're looking at the original Super Nintendo, you're going to get this gigantic PCB, and this is the only thing that we're going to get with the Chinese edition. And there are a lot of different parts, so let's do a quick tour of it. Okay, so here we're going to get the chip that is needed for upscaling it to the HDMI signal. Here we're going to get the AV out option, the switch is over there, and of course we're going to get the micro USB input 5 volts. So that's basically what the first PCB does. It has been made in 2017, so this thing is already a couple of years old when making this video. So in this part there's a lot of stuff happening. So over here we're going to get the on and off switch, and yeah, it's a very bulky on and off switch, to be honest. Then we're going to get the mechanism. It's already like getting loose. It's only being held with one freaking spring over here. And here we can see like there is a lot of different chips on this. So the TCT 978 over here, but when you're looking closely here you can see also it has even different chips, the TCT 975 and the 976. So there are basically 3 different processing chips on this machine. It's quite interesting, and I must say I have never seen it, and maybe this is because of the NES part and the Super NES part. So I'm just going to be honest, my God, I'm just going to be honest. I don't know if this is going to be like emulation stuff related or how they are mimicking this, but it's a quite interesting thing. So let me know in the comments. Then we're going to get ourselves like the wireless 2.4 gigahertz edition that they sold to this board. I think I cannot remove this. It's stuck on here. The downside to this thing is like there's no configuration possible with new controllers. So if your controllers get broken, you are just done with it. So, and here at the front we're going to get the last part. Oh, holding it wrong. And let's see that only for the 2 connectors over here, but it doesn't say any date whatsoever. So I find it quite interesting to see. At the beginning I must say like I'm getting second doubt. It is kind of an emulation machine, but the chips they are using, even 3 of those things, I did see them in my previous videos, like when you're looking at the Sega Mega Drive editions. I think when you're looking at systems from AliExpress, you can never compare them with the original hardware, but it's just a fun new way to play. Let me know in the comments what you think of this. Would be great if you subscribe, hit that little bell, become a Wicked family, and I will see you in the next video.